Who do I serve? I am a big believer in being a generalist, not a specialist.
Okay, very good.
So I don't niche. And I think part of that is because I have a lifelong agency background. So I am constantly attracted to the new stuff, the next challenge.
So the first question, which I think I know the answer, tea or coffee?
Tea. Always tea.
Always a tea?
Always tea.
Have you ever tried a cha?
Yes.
And?
Oh. So I was introduced to a new client this week.
Nice.
Which is really exciting. I'm looking forward, hopefully, to doing some work with them. They're based in Leicester, where I used to live just outside Leicester.
Nice.
And you do that thing, don't you, where you get a new client comes in, you just go, oh, where are they? Let's have a quick look. I pulled them up, and they are just across the road from a cricket ground I used to play at called Asian Sports. My first chai tea there.
Nice.
Ever. And I was with a group of young players who were looking at this liquid like it was some sort of alien experience. And I thought, do you know what, I'm going to give this a go. And I have been a convert ever since.
Oh, nice one.
Oh, and Tea Pig's chai.
Okay.
I'm a massive fan of that.
All right, awesome.
Massive fan of that.
So next time we get together, part 2.
Episode 2, we're going for chai.
Oh, we're going for, absolutely.
We'll go for chai. I also really love when we're talking about food coming from other places. Let's get the chai, but let's record this at Anand Sweets.
All right. Anand. Yeah.
I love that place.
It's a good shout.
It's a really lovely place to just sit and hang out.
Why don't we just put it on the table here, and we can call it food for thought?
Well, hello. Yes, I like that start.
So moving on, beach holiday or city break?
10 days away, 3 days city, 7 days beach.
Yeah. You like a balance, but lean more towards the beach.
Lean more towards the beach,
yeah,
because I quite like doing nothing.
Yeah,
I quite like just putting I like uncoupling myself from stuff, but I like seeing things at the same time. So, first 3 days, go around a big city, and then just unwind with a couple of good books, and the beach after that. I think.
Are you reading anything exciting at the moment?
I am currently reading. Heavy work, this one. I'm reading a book called Nexus by Yuval Noah Harari, who wrote Sapiens. Nexus is about how human and artificial intelligence information networks work. So it goes all the way back from the Stone Age into the AI world, and starts to understand how humans communicate and the role that AI may or may not play in those. And it is fascinating. It is a proper piece of text. Yeah. I'm kind of doing 20 minutes a day, a couple of short, if I can get five pages a day, then I will work my way through it. But it's like 400 pages of text and then another 250 pages of references and notes and all of that. So yeah, people are looking at that book and going, oh, that's a lot, isn't it?
Nice. Cats or dogs?
Couldn't care. To be honest, I have one dog who goes everywhere with me, pretty much. I didn't bring him today, but I have a dog who is in the office every day, goes everywhere with me, and then 2 cats at home.
Ah, both?
Yeah.
This morning I had someone who was neither. Didn't like either of them.
Really?
Yeah, shocking.
That's an interesting... How can you not like... How long did that conversation last? Because you have to at some point go, well, you're not right, are you?
Well, yeah, I'll let people judge for themselves. I won't get into that conversation. Netflix binge watch or board game?
Oh, binge watch. Again, it's that stick my brain into neutral and just let something happen.
Sure. Pineapple on your pizza?
Never.
Don't spoil it.
No. Doesn't need it.
Doesn't need it.
But do, at the end of your barbecue, fresh pineapple, grill it.
Yeah.
Hello.
Okay.
Have a bit of that.
Are you an early bird or night owl?
Night owl.
Yeah.
Night owl.
Burn the midnight candle, yeah?
Yeah, I tend not to be asleep before 1 a.m, which is probably not the healthiest thing I could possibly be. But again, it is that thing of you can do one. I think you can do one end of the day or the other.
Yeah.
And especially with 2 kids, once they've gone to bed and they're settled down. I mean, the eldest one is in a world of her own now. But once the youngest one is off to bed and settled down, having those couple of hours If she doesn't get to bed till 9, and then it's 11 o'clock and you've eaten and so the night for me.
You get productive windows there just to get on with a few things.
Yeah,
absolutely. Concert or comedy show?
Concert.
Winter or summer sun?
Ooh, summer. Yeah.
Camping or 5-star hotel?
Camping. Much happier just letting the world come to me.
Texting or talking?
Talking. And properly punctuated texts when I'm sending them.
Yeah.
Don't skip. Don't abbreviate words. And I'm moving into the world of voice notes now as well, which I think are quite handy. Now I've become a convert. Why aren't I reflecting these questions back at you? Why aren't I?
It's just one way.
It's just a one way thing.
It's just a one way. Yeah, you can if you want. I don't mind. But just to let you know, by the way, congratulations. You got 10 out of 10 for that.
Did I?
You did. Well done.
Has anyone else got 10 out of 10? Now the competitive streak kicks in.
You'll have to see the other podcast. To be fair, episodes you can check for yourself.
Do you know what?
I can't give them away.
I'm not going to. I wouldn't change a thing. It's not for me to come into this space and change things because it's yours. You own it. But a leaderboard.
Okay. All right.
Absolutely.
Good shout.
Just towards the end. Just go. Let's recap on the questions.
Recap. You go. Okay. Good chat. Well done. So that's the fun part. We get to the business part now.
Cool.
Yeah. So tell us, and obviously for the viewers and everybody watching, what do you do and who do you serve?
What do I do? I am what is fancily called a fractional CMO. So Chief Marketing Officer, but working for a range of different clients. Most of my work is through digital marketing. So a lot of search, SEO, PPC, paid, social, email, those types of things, website efficiencies, website improvements, analytics, data, and all of those. Who do I serve? I am a big believer in being a generalist, not a specialist.
Okay, very good.
So I don't niche. And I think part of that is because I have a lifelong agency background. So I am constantly attracted to the new stuff, the next challenge. And where I would say, when you go to networking things and they say, what's your superpower? And you think, oh, Christ. But where I would say the superpower exists is I am very good at identifying hard to reach audiences and finding ways of reaching them. So I would say the majority of my clients have, if they have one thing in common, it's that they will have worked with 4 or 5 agencies before they get to us, and they will all say, well, the previous partners didn't understand us, they didn't get it. And we seem to be in this nice little place where we do get it. And we can make the people who've not felt understood be understood, get them in front of their customers, get them in front of the right customers, and get quality back for them. So in a nutshell, I would say that's what we do. Excellent. Digital marketing for hard to reach audiences.
Fantastic. And you touched on a great point about niching.
Yeah.
I resonate with that because so many business coaches have told us, and we watch it all the time, we hear it all the time on YouTube and LinkedIn and every other channel, what's your niche? You should stay down the manufacturing line and become that expert, and then the next manufacturer will get confidence in you if you've done 100 other manufacturers. And I go, I get that narrative. Yeah. But it doesn't work for us, because if I look back at my last 12 months and then 12 years and I just look at the mix of my clients, I know what is consistent, but definitely industry specific is not consistent.
Now, and you see, that's really interesting. What would you say were the consistencies through you?
So for us, each client had the ambition for growth, and we could identify that, we resonate with that, and we have a framework that really works for them and us, where we can see, right, this is where we are. Yeah. That's the transformation that needs to happen. Yeah. This is our roadmap, and we plug it in, and we can roll it out. And just like what you said before, which was, I thought, really powerful, we get under the skin of the business. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think, for me, I've always believed that if you're good at what you do, you don't need to niche. And look, I've got lots of friends out there who do niche and are very comfortable in those sectors and are very effective in them. All power to them. Yeah. All power to them. It's not a judgment on them. It's just, it's not for me. It's not for that little itchy part of my brain that keeps ticking constantly. I think if you are good at what you do, you can pick it up and you can transpose it to wherever you need to transpose it to. Be that, yesterday I was at a UK visitor attraction, who are one of our retained clients. Next week, well, not next week because I'm having a week off next week, which will be amazing.
Nice.
But when I get back, I've got a manufacturer of enamel pins and badges and patches. They need some work, and I've got a UK stately home that needs some support, and I've got a provider of SaaS software into the delivery sector. And all of those different things need all the same skill set, but they just need them applied in different ways.
Of course.
And I think the not niching thing also comes down to two sides of the same coin. Firstly, it stops me being lazy, because I can't sausage factory everything. It can't be, that worked for so-and-so, so I'm going to apply it to them. But also, it fuels my interest in new things, because a new challenge is always coming around the corner. I'm always having to think and do something different. And I don't know whether that resonates with you, and I don't know whether...
If I did the same thing again and again, I think I'd get bored, and I'd have to either find a different business, do a different business. I think that's what keeps me on my toes.
Yeah.
That understanding, okay, we understand our framework. Who's your customer? Who's your audience? Where are you in the market? There's lots of competitors, positioning, and understanding our own personality, and making sure that's right. And then how do we connect them together? How do we reduce the friction between their problem, your solution, and make that conversation happen in the most effective, efficient way possible?
And how do you elevate them out of the conversation? I've just been... When we were chatting upstairs, when we were making this lovely cup of tea, it was just a very nice cup of tea, and we were just putting the world to rights out there. And I was talking about where I'd been before I got here. One of the things that I've been doing was looking at a fresh website brief with a colleague of mine. And the job that we are both doing on a website brief is taking the client out of that brief. Because ultimately, they're the brand we're representing. They're the people that will pay the bill and get the work. But it's not about them. It's about what their customers need.
Of course.
So putting ourselves in the mind of those customers and then bringing that back to that brand, that's what...
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I do wonder whether if I was doing it for the same sector all the time, it would always be the same solution, and I would get a little bit bored. I think I'm with you.
I think the framework's always the same, but I get jaded. You
precisely.
You see the same thing again and again and again. But I'm with you 100%. Customer centric. It has to be. Yeah. Because the minute you're not, then you're self-serving, and you're very quickly going to hit a glass ceiling. But
when I talk about customers, I don't talk about my customers. I talk about theirs.
Of course.
And that's who it's about for me.
Yeah, 100%. So we get an idea of the makeup of agency?
Agency.
2 people, 10 people? What's the makeup of the size? What's the kind of geography of your client base? Do you reach out from Leeds to London, less or more?
So, size-wise, it's me plus a great big group of freelancers and partners and other providers who can just come in. Because, when we talk about getting bored, I know the other bits that I get bored with. I don't want that great big office where someone's going to come to me and say, can you just sign a purchase order for 500 loo rolls? I'm not interested in that at all.
I get it.
I don't want the weight of other people's mortgages on my head, but I also know that I am surrounded by exceptionally talented people who I can tap into, who will come in and do an amazing job and represent what I need and what I do and how I talk to the world in ways that just make everybody's lives better and stronger. But you don't need that headache of looking after everybody 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, which I think...
I 100% again resonate with you. The agency, the creative industries, I think is quite unique in that manner from every other industry. Yeah. That you can be a one-man agency and still do huge and amazing campaigns, projects, clients. Yep. And you're not dependent on having like a manufacturing company I need a big space, I need lots of machinery, I need lots of manpower, a lot of man hours.
Yeah.
We're not stuck in some of that.
We can be agile, we can be responsive.
Absolutely.
We are always creative in everything that we do. And the great thing is you can just plug people in as and when you need, and everybody's doing that. So everyone's getting that benefit from it, and I think that makes for a really, really exciting mix. Clients-wise, all over the UK. All over the UK. So we've worked with, I've got London clients, Liverpool, up to Newcastle, up to Scotland, a number in and around a 10-mile catchment area as well. So, but also, and you'll find this, increasingly, your clients are working from different places. Now you've got more blended work and remote work coming in. I've got people who were in Leeds, and you could say they are a Leeds client, but they're in Manchester, or they're in London, or Sheffield, or Cornwall. And they're just where they are doing what they do. And I think that's brilliant. So these days, I would say that fewer and fewer clients are in a place. Unless they are a retail business with bricks and mortar and they need it. If you're doing software as a service, you don't need that.
Of course.
So that makes that question, I think, and increasingly, I think it's going to make it more difficult to answer where are your clients, because they're all over.
They're all over.
And I think that's really quite exciting.
It's the landscape's changing.
Yeah.
The landscape is changing. I had Matt Esom in a couple of weeks ago, and I don't know if you know Matt. He's a coach consultant, and he works in the creative space with studios, with agencies. And I was asking him, what's life like as a digital nomad?
Yeah.
And his office is in Dubai. He's got clients right around the world. And we were laughing because he was telling me he got called a digital gypsy. And that sounds a bit offensive. Is that borderline offensive, or is that depends, I suppose, isn't it, from where you come from? But,
yeah, it does. But yeah.
But the point is, the landscape's changing.
Yeah, it is.
And you know, a business could be in Leeds and they could have an office in Dubai. And I've got many friends that do have that. Yeah. And so the world's getting smaller, and in the digital space is becoming really, really buoyant. Yeah. So it should.
Yes. And it's really, really exciting for things like that. Really, really exciting for things like that, because people can now go off, and especially in the creative spaces, I think you're so often built from the experiences that you are having. So if everybody's in the same office, doing the same things in the same city, they're all having the same experiences.
Of course.
Now, with this diaspora of people all across the world, all feeding into individual projects all of the time, you've got all these different influences and different perspectives and different needs coming in. And I think that's super exciting.
Of course.
Especially when you're in the creative space.
Especially when in our space, yeah. I'm not sure that really changes much for other industries. I always tend to go back to accountancy. 2 and 2 is always going to be 4. And
not with a really good accountant.
Oh, really?
Not with the really creative ones.
So not talking about in the business, on the business. What's the challenge? What's the challenge at the moment? Where are you with your journey? And
So the challenge for me right now, I would say, is, I wouldn't call it growth, but I would call it acquisition. Finding some new clients. That's what I want. I've turned 50 this year. I know I don't look it. Thank you for jumping in there. And I think that's one of those moments where you do stop and you take a little bit of stock and you say, am I getting everything out of this vibe that I want? What am I enjoying? What do I want to do less of? What am I good at? What am I less good at? What makes me happy?
Absolutely.
And I'm at that life stage now where my eldest daughter turns 18 on Monday. But yes, I've kept her alive for 18 years. She's dodged a number of bullets there. So we're recording on a Friday. Sorry, broke the fourth wall. But, she turns 18 on Monday and gets gets A-level results on Thursday. So I've got to that point in life where I know I've only got 6-8 weeks left with her living full-time in our home. And that hits you a little bit. Are your kids?
Yeah, 19, 13 and 10.
Right, so 19. Gone to uni?
No, different career path.
Right.
Went to college.
Yeah.
Is now looking for apprenticeship.
Right.
Academia is not for him, so he wants
Fair.
to be more hands-on.
Yeah.
But that said, he's away in Leicester. He's been away all week.
Right.
And so just getting a bit of a taste of, life is a bit different when I'm
And it
not
is
at
different,
home.
isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's quieter here.
Yeah.
And he feels, it's a bit different by myself.
But I would imagine that within your home, you're feeling a bit of a space.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
And it does...
The dynamics have changed.
Yeah, the dynamics do change. And when those dynamics shift, you find yourself in a position where you start to say, well, if that's shifted, does anything else need to shift accordingly? Does anything else need to move accordingly? And I thought, well, there are aspects of my working life that I know I'm exceptional at and I know get me out of bed in the morning. And there are others where I can probably delegate a bit more. I can probably give those to other people. So the quest at the moment is a couple of three good new client acquisitions where I can do more of that delegating. There are others where I'll choose to stay hands-on, and there are some where I can build that wider freelance team up and bring new people in. And that's been really, and I've found over the last 6 months, once I made the conscious decision to do it, and I thought this is the route I want to go down, hugely liberating, just feeling that I'm not responsible for everything. I've noticed that I'm a nicer person to be around of an evening because I'm not thinking about, did I push that campaign live? Should that have been on Exact Match, or should that have been on Phrase Match? Should that have been on max clicks or max conversions? Those types of things.
Of course. Rewind 10, 15 years ago, and we were making a film. It'd always be me and Dad, his family business, behind the cameras, sound, lights, cameras, all of that good stuff, two of us. And if we needed more people, we'd bring them in. Nowadays, it's not as... You could argue not as agile, but it's a team.
Yeah.
I'm the director. We have a camera op or a DOP, a sound man, an assistant. There's maybe grip, maybe makeup. It's more of a production. But everyone's got their own department. So the reason is we're not spread as thin. The quality of production is of a higher level, of a higher standard.
And would you say that is because from a personal perspective, take everybody else out of it and just think about you as an individual, would you say from a personal perspective, that's because you are better able to focus on a specific area?
Absolutely.
Than spread yourself across, is the lighting right, is the sound right, is it in focus, has the camera got enough battery, has.
Exactly that.
So,
and the client's next to me and I have more opportunity to give the TLC to the client. That is to me is where the relationship is.
Yeah. And I think I had one of those moments, I would say definitely around the start of 2025, where I came off a client call and I thought that client has just had the very, very best of me. Absolutely had the best that I can provide and got the best advice that they're ever going to get. And then I had to shift out of that and into a different mode to do some more practitioner-based stuff.
Tactical work.
Yeah, tactical work, not strategic work. And I thought, actually, this isn't a good use of me as a human being. So how can I bring more value to the people that I work with directly? How can I be the person that they need me to be and I want to be?
Yeah.
And delegate more and more and more. And once I had that little click over, life really did change. And 2025, I think, has been quite a transformative year from that point of view.
Fantastic. Well, I'm delighted to hear that. So it all starts at mindset.
Yeah.
And so I totally resonate with you when you say, there's a bit of relief, liberation, and when that the mindset shifts, what you're doing to get that new pipeline?
So much of what we do, and you're in exactly the same position as me, so much of what we do is vibes-based, isn't it? So I'm going out and I'm meeting as many people as possible.
Brilliant.
I've become a prolific networker.
Nice.
I wouldn't say I've become a talented one, but I've definitely become a prolific one. But I found some really good networking groups to be part of, and...
Feel free to name drop, it's all right.
Well, no, I'm going to keep it secret. There's some really good, there's one called First Friday in Leeds, that's run by one guy who keeps the membership down to a certain number You pay to be a member of it, but he's very particular about the people that come in and the way in which they go about it. But joining that, I think, has been absolutely transformational for me, not because it's delivered any work, but what it has delivered is a good experience.
Okay.
And you will have been to networking groups where someone's coming up to you and trying to get you to sign up to have your utilities moved. And I had one where a guy was offering massages all the time, which just creeps me out, if I'm honest. It's not for me. When we're talking about holidays, spa, not a chance.
Oh, really?
Oh, God, Lord, no. I used to work in an agency where part of my package was a massage per month.
Oh, right.
And I think I was the only person that never took it ever.
Didn't you gift it to anybody?
I don't think it never really occurred to me. It was just one of those things that,
it made you cringe.
Yeah, made me cringe.
Fair enough.
And also, I've got LinkedIn content that's going out.
Brilliant.
For me, it's about being seen to have an opinion and a point of view and bringing that to a client base. Because, like you were saying earlier, I can't remember whether we were recording or not when you were talking about it, but
probably
doing something at 90 degrees from the rest of the market. That's what I believe in. So every Friday at 2:45, I will put out on LinkedIn a classic piece of print advertising, just for people to look at. Don't do it for the likes. Don't do it for the recognition. Don't do it for the conversation. Don't do it because it's going to turn into a lead. Just do it because it disrupts the feed. Do it so that there's something always there. And I find that that's just a nice way of starting to say, this is who I am, this is what I'm about. So anyone that goes back will see it on the Insta, they'll see it on the LinkedIn, and they get a sense of the person that's...
Absolutely.
Because you'll do the same, won't you?
Yeah, absolutely. It's so if we have time and if you're interested, before we're done, I'll happily show you our pipeline and our under the bonnet and what we do and how we do.
Oh, cool.
Well, a little snapshot of it at least. And, if it's of interest, then, happy to... Again, it's about, I think, sharing good practice or best practice is working for us. Why not share with other people? Yeah. And it's more of a framework, not tactics. People get sucked into tactics. Oh, let's do cold email. All right, fine. Get my MailChimp out. But it's not about MailChimp. No, don't use MailChimp. You got to use the right tools. But think strategically first.
And that's the thing. I read a book by Alistair Campbell, Tony Blair's chief communications director, years and years ago, where he talked about successful people and what went behind successful people. And he identified 3 things: objective, strategy, tactics. And I think too many people, especially in the small business space, are tactically obsessed.
Of course.
I'm going to do email, I'm going to do social, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do the other. And then strategy sort of gets bolted into that, but nobody actually starts with a big overview of what it is that I am trying to achieve. What is my objective? And if I set out with an objective for 2025 and say, well, I'd like 3 new clients in, well, as we sit here, it's August and I'm at 2 of 3, which is brilliant. I'm very happy with that. But that was the objective. What's the strategy? Well, the strategy was to start networking, to be a bit more present, to get out from behind my desk, because COVID killed that.
Absolutely.
I think many of us just retreated back into our comfortable spaces.
It did make videos a little bit more normalized.
I bet it did,
So it was a great boost for the right reasons.
Yeah.
But 100%, everybody kind of closed up, went into the little cave, and now people are getting back to normality, if you can say that.
I think it's taken people a lot of time to get the courage up to get back into that normality.
I think you're right. I think there was a lot of trauma.
Yeah.
Genuinely?
Yeah, it was terrible.
A lot of anxiety.
How did you feel when we went into lockdown? Not from the family perspective, because the family was brought into the house, you can look after them. But from the point of view of a business owner,
we dipped. We got hugely concerned. Then we actually got busier than ever because everyone realised that lockdown's ticking around and they need digital comms, and video became really valuable because you could talk to one-to-many. So we got really super busy, and we thought, how long is this going to lockdown actually going to...
Not just from the turnover point of view, from the point of view of you as a human being on that day. Because it was weird for me. That was my first year lecturing at Huddersfield Uni, which I do a couple of days a week. I was in my first year doing that with some first year students when the university said, we are shutting and you need to get everybody out. So that was one of my first jobs in that March. I sent everybody home, went back to my office, and then lovely Boris was on the telly saying, we're all locking down. And I was personally, I was terrified. I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know how it was going to affect the business, or whether we were going to keep the house, all of those things. I knew there wasn't going to be a huge amount of support for people like you and I.
There wasn't, absolutely. I can't say I had, and maybe it's, maybe I didn't think about it too much. Yeah. And maybe the dynamics of being exposed to a huge cohort of university students in front of you, the physical numbers, that has an impact. That it's not just about you were thinking probably also about the students and life. And I think we were like, it felt like upstairs right now, everybody was at home. Business carried on. I didn't overthink it. I mean, the scary thing was 2 weeks prior to lockdown, I was in New York. We were filming on a weekend in New York. And I had this cough then as well, and I'm trying not to cough. And and they announced lockdown, and I was just thinking, imagine if my schedule was 2 weeks backwards. I would have got caught in New York, and it was literally lockdown for how many weeks?
And what do you do then?
That was the only thought that was kind of quite frightening, really.
Because it is quite a lot of sliding doors moments that start to run through your mind, isn't there?
Absolutely.
So it's a strange vibe. And I think for a lot of people, going through that moment of terror, and it's taken them a long time to come back into doing what they do consistently.
Agreed.
And you find excuses for not doing it. So, I did step away from networking. It was an easy excuse. I didn't enjoy it before lockdown for all the reasons that we've cited around probably not going to the right groups. And I talked to a friend of mine at the start of the year, and I said, I really need to get out and start doing this. I know you do it a lot. Where are the good places? And he started to put me in touch, which is great. And I've sort of I've been on his coattails since the start of the year. And it's been so much better for that.
So what's the big goal in 3 months? I'm not going to say 1 year, 3 years, 5 years. That's like a business plan. That's not the in 3 months' time, we're going to be November.
October, November.
Yeah. What's the goal? What's the aspiration?
So by then, the aspiration is to not be a practitioner. To, in your will be the director, not the lens puller, not the key grip. That's the objective.
Nice.
That's the objective, so that my time is freed up. So that I can whiz down to Nottingham, where, fingers crossed, my daughter will be, and say, come on, we're going out for lunch today. I'm driving down to see you. Because I've freed myself up to do that. So I can say to my youngest daughter, who's 10, right, I'm going to knock off early, I'll pick you up from school, we'll go swimming. Let's remember that the time we have together is finite, so we'll create a few memories with it. Because they have learned that you've got to work hard in life. Your kids will get exactly the same lesson. That's part of having an entrepreneurial parent. You've got to work hard. Absolutely. And my kids have both been really, really good. Where's Dad? Oh, he's having to work. And they absolutely get that. But they're also going to remember the times when I wasn't at work and we did something together. Brilliant. We spent some special time. And this year, 2020, like I say, 2025 has been I think it's turning 50. I think it's this number that hangs over you like a sword of Damocles. I started on a Monday night taking my daughter to swimming lessons, and instead of going straight home, we went to Dixon's on Leeds Road for an ice cream, and we just spent half an hour sitting in the car, not saying an awful lot, just having an ice cream, spending that quality time together. And you start to think, actually, I want more of this. So if I can liberate myself from practice and become the director, then that'll be great for me. What's yours?
It's
so we record this again. You don't just get to ask the questions. You've got to answer some as well.
I love that. Yeah.
And this is the thing, right?
Yeah.
I ask a lot of questions.
Great.
We sit down again, 3 months' time, we make a date.
Absolutely.
We're going to be back here, this room, 3 months' time. What's yours?
Yeah, great question. Can I just come back to that in a second? No. It's not a politician's answer. I will answer it, absolutely. Because, we've got commercial goals as well. But I remember speaking to a friend of mine, Ian, and I said the same thing. And you just reminded me of the story. How does your, even your 18-year-old daughter, but your more so your 10-year-old daughter, how does she spell love?
That's an excellent question. Yes. My eldest is dreadful at spelling, so she'll spell it any way she wants. What I've really noticed through my children is how very, very good they are at expressing love. When my mother-in-law is a resident across the road from us. We live very, very close together, and then we're going to see their grandma. And as they're leaving, love you, Gran. Out they go. My youngest tells me she loves me all the time, which makes me very suspicious. I still have to find the thing that she's broken. There'll be a guitar somewhere that's, smashed a bit. Missing a neck, probably. But they are both very, very naturally good at saying, I love you. And I really appreciate that in both of them. It's a wonderful trait to have. How does she spell it? She spells it in a very traditional way. 4 letters, L-O-V-E. But also, she expresses it through just being super, super kind. Very warm, very generous, very supportive. They both have been, actually. They both have been. I remember my eldest was in a cross-country race. She was quite a talented runner when she was small. She'd done, I don't know, let's say it was 1.5 miles, which is quite a distance for a year 5 kid. She's top 10. She's coming in. She's going down the home straight, and she looks around her, and she realises that her friend isn't with her. So she stopped, she ran back, got her friend, and came, next to last, but did it with her friend. And from a parental point of view, I am at the side of that race screaming, what are you doing, you moron? And then from the other side of it, you're going, you are the sweetest human being on earth, aren't you?
Of course.
So, yeah, that's an excellent question, that.
It's a question, it's a loaded question, because from a child's point of view, what the story you said earlier on was a perfect example of how I would spell it, is T-I-M-E.
I see what you're saying. Have you ever played that game with that dinner party game of who would be your ideal guests around a table, and people pick Einstein and Stephen Fry and
sure.
Play that with a year 5 kid. So you've got 19. Your children are 19,
13, and 10.
Right. So play it with your 10-year-old.
Okay. Yeah.
And I guarantee that you'll get grandma, grandpa, grandma, grandpa, uncle so-and-so, auntie so-and-so.
Of course.
You play it with your 19-year-old, Mr. Beast. And somewhere in those 10 years, we lose sight of the thing that is probably the most important to us.
Of course.
It's always really interesting talking to young children about who would be your ideal, and they will pick those people who are just closest to them.
Who's your aspiration? Who's your heroes? Who you want to spend most time with? Yeah, absolutely. And the reason I brought that into the mix is purely because we need to spend more time with them, because we give our children to school. They spend more time at school than they do at home. So all their values and everything come from school teachers. Yeah. I'm not knocking school teachers.
Oh God, no! They deserve.
They deserve a lot of time, credit. They've got a tough job.
Yeah,
from bad to worse, to be fair.
Yeah.
But we've got our role to play.
Yeah.
And the values that we need to instill in our tomorrow's leaders, tomorrow's community, our community, morals, ethics, and all of that good stuff. Yeah. Where's it going to come from if we don't start spending more time with them?
Yeah, and I think that, beyond work, I'm quite happy to give my time to other things. And part of that, I understand, is I set an example to the kids.
Brilliant.
They see that they love and hate the fact that wherever we go, Dad bumps into somebody that he knows. And Dad has an awful lot of those, catching someone's eye, saying hello. They walk past, I walk past, the kids will go, who was that? I can't remember.
Ditto.
But that's part of being active in the community.
Absolutely.
And whether it's me doing the pub quiz once every 8 weeks, or through the cricket club I'm a member of and happen to be chairman of, which is a great honour, but you know, it's about the club, it's definitely not about me. I'm the director of a community social business that runs in the Home Valley where I live. There's a wind turbine that was installed. It's owned by the community, and the money it raises and generates funds community projects. I'm a director of the business that looks after that. Whatever it is, the kids can see, the world can see that you're doing things and you're putting something back. It's not a bad thing to be in the altar, a pillar of the community, is it?
It's a good thing.
No, I think it's a great thing.
Absolutely, it's a great thing, absolutely. Yeah. And we need to talk about this more often, because especially in the entrepreneur world, I think a lot of people get bamboozled by this hustle culture.
Oh, it's nonsense, isn't it?
Well, what is all that about? You know, work hard. I'm all about working hard, but there's more to that. There's more to community and people that live down the street or in the local area.
God, yeah.
And do we want to grow a business? Absolutely. I want to take more people on because I can help the economy. Yeah. We can give somebody a job, and that to me is why I want to grow our business, our agency. We've got growth plans. You were asking me, what do I want to do in 3 months? I need to get 2 more clients. I want to get 2 more bums upstairs on seats, because we've got a growth plan and we've got targets that we want to meet. Not just because I want more money, it's because that we can help and serve more clients and customers.
You can do more.
But we can do more, absolutely. Yeah. And it's about building a community, I would say it's borderline social enterprise is where my headset is, where my mindset is. But it's really thinking about, our community around us. We have to all get better together, not just the elite, not just me and everybody else. It's a broken system that is.
Hustle culture for me is, and I think there are two elements to the way in which entrepreneurial activity is marketed that I have a significant problem with. Firstly is hustle culture, and the idea that you need to get up 3 hours before you've gone to bed. That 4:30 in the morning through till 5 a.m, that's quality time with the children, and then I'm going to pump iron, and then I'm going to go off and make 150 sales calls. And firstly, it's unsustainable. Secondly, it's impractical. Thirdly, it's broadly bullshit, because nobody's doing that.
Yeah. And
the second element, and we see less of it these days than we did pre-lockdown, certainly, but it is still there, is what I would call debt porn, where I put all of my money on credit cards and I paid one off with the other, and it leads into hustle culture. And I made 1,000 sales, and I didn't pay this, and I did that, and now look at me in a Lamborghini, which, let's be frank, was probably leased, or you've rented it for a photo shoot. Because neither of those models are sustainable. The business you and I both know, the businesses that fail are the ones that are heavily in debt.
Absolutely.
The entrepreneurs that fail are the ones that never sleep. The people who don't invest in rest are the ones who fall apart fastest.
Of course.
And I think that I went through a period, certainly when I set up in 2012, where I didn't feel like I could take rest, because I always felt like if I wasn't working, I wasn't earning, and if I wasn't earning, I didn't know where the next pound was coming from. Yeah. And evolving through that, which again is part of this 2025 transformation of my experience of running a business. Getting through that has made me, I think, a more sustainable, nice to be around human being. I've got a longer fuse now than I had, in 2015 when I was thinking that every hour I had to be looking at an analytics dashboard or something like that. Yeah, right, life knocks you around. You learn that things come and go. You learn about the transient nature of your client base and all of those things. It still smarts when a client says, thank you, but it's time that we went in separate directions. It still hurts.
Of course it does. Nobody ever wants that conversation.
Yeah, no one wants to have that conversation, but we understand that other things are coming down the way. You have still dodged the question about what you want for you.
No, I am...
You've said you want a couple of people upstairs. You said you want a couple of extra clients, but that's for the business. That's not for you.
Well, I suppose there's a direct correlation to that, because how that feeds me is it gives me freedom.
Yeah. Freedom
to do the things that I want to do. So that is spend time with family and spend time with the community. So I have rewind about 10 years ago. We ran another business where I used to DJ at Asian weddings.
Cool.
Have you ever been to an Indian wedding?
I have been to one Indian wedding. It was chaos and I adored it.
So we had a really successful business. The business is still alive. So I stepped out of it. My brother still runs it. The warehouse behind here is just full of all sound, speakers, lights and all that production. It. And every weekend we were up and down the country doing Asian weddings.
Yeah.
Indian weddings, Sikh weddings, the whole shebang. I think the furthest we got south was Melbourne, Australia, where we got flown out twice. My brother went a third time.
So cool.
So it was like we were living the dream.
Yeah.
No word of a lie. Life was great. But it came to a point where I wasn't spending time with my wife. I wasn't spending time with my son. And I thought, it's the same thing again and again. And I couldn't knock it. Life was great. We were well respected, whether it was Grosvenor House on Park Lane, whether it was the Natural History Museum in Knightsbridge, whether we were at Hayward House up in Leeds. We were right round the country every weekend. And, it was wedding reception after reception. And we grew the business from, a van turning up and setting up a few speakers to taking artists out to venues, designing, planning. Literally, we would build for 3-4 days, put a whole event together and then deliver that. And in 4 hours, it would be out.
Yeah.
Obviously, I transferred that skill to corporate. So we do deliver a small amount of corporate events, but it's only on the back of the digital campaigns we deliver. So I tell that story because I've worked a business 8 days a week, every hour, all hours, and now I came to a point I wanted a work-life balance. But what happened was it was work, life meaning family, and then community balance.
Yeah.
In our culture, as Sikhs, we say seva, meaning selfless service, where we go out, whether it's through the Gurdwara, at the Gurdwara, or even just at the school outside. What can we do to help our community? Yeah. And I mean, not just the Sikh community, not exclusive
the whole community.
The whole community.
I grew up with a Sikh family next door.
Okay.
So really grew up understanding how important community was from a family perspective.
Absolutely.
And how wonderful it is. And city in India, the town that never goes hungry, where the Golden Temple is in India.
That's it, Langar, yeah.
Yes, there you go. Yeah. Just the most beautiful, beautiful thing.
Yeah, and so on that same vein, a lot of people don't know Langar is available every Gurdwara throughout the world. Yeah. There's 3-4 Gurdwaras in Huddersfield. There's about 6 in Leeds, 6 in Bradford. And we get a lot of homeless people and people don't realise we have no ambition to convert anyone. That's not our goal. It's not about who you are, it's about your actions. Yeah. And you have good actions, help people, and that's the way forward. Yeah. So my goal is more time with family, more time doing the community work. But if I'm tied down to the business, then that means my time is limited. So similar story as yourself. Yeah. So the more clients and a good team, and it's hard to find good team players.
Yeah.
That's not easy.
It really is hard.
Freelance contractors is much easier, and there's a big network. You talked about earlier. We've got a strong network of contractors and freelancers, but it's not always commercially attractive. Yeah. Because obviously they're a contractor, they're not tied down.
There is no such thing as work-life balance.
Yeah.
And I learned this not through anything other than talking to being. I was invited in lockdown onto an event from Pinterest.
Okay.
And if you ever get a chance to work at Pinterest, absolutely adorable people. Really, you've never met a more enthusiastic group than the people in Pinterest, and I adore them. And they do an annual Pinterest presents where they talk about the trends in the market and all of those things. In lockdown, they did quite a big one, and they invited onto there a woman called Karen Blackett, who is a lawyer, a human rights lawyer, I think, but she was an advisor to 10 Downing Street. She positions on charities and boards, and she was one of those women who you would look at and you would think, you've got it all. You've done everything. And she said one of the things that she learned And the one piece of advice that I took from her, which absolutely transformed how I go about living my life, was work-life balance is nonsense. Nobody can achieve work-life balance, because what you're doing is you're sticking everything on a pivot point, and the thing in the middle is always going to lose, and the thing in the middle is you. So forget work-life balance, but do have work-life blend. Life is work, work is life.
Yeah,
there are times when you will have to be at work, but there will be times when you are at work and the kids need taking to the dentist. There will be times when it's school sports day. There will be times when it's A-level results day, or a birthday, or a doctor's trip, or someone needs school shoes. We operate in an environment where work is life, life is work. You've got a laptop, you can work anywhere, and you can work at any time. And when you start to realise that you can blend things rather than try and balance, you can have a conversation that says, I can have a conversation with a 10-year-old that says, yeah, sure, I'll take you swimming on Tuesday. I'll knock off at work early. I'll take you swimming on Tuesday. But then I need you to empty the dishwasher and reload it, because I'll have to catch up with some work. Yeah, sure, Dad, that's not a problem. Yes, I can say to, I can go to and take the kids to the dentist. That's absolutely not a problem. As long as we understand that I'll just have to do a couple of hours.
Absolutely.
And when life blends, life is so much simpler.
I agree.
So much simpler.
And I think I've taken it for granted, because I don't think I could work for somebody for that same kind of lack of freedom, flexibility, or work-life blend, as you call it, which I like. I like the phrase. I used to. So we were talking about networking earlier on, and I used to not go to any BNIs or morning networking clubs, because I'd rather take my children to school in the morning and have that time with them. It's only 20 minutes, but that 20 minutes is 20 minutes.
It's magic time, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. So I made that choice, and then sports days, I was there. I went to eat sports.
Dad's race?
Absolutely.
You did the dad's race?
Absolutely.
Oh, good for you.
You have to join in.
Yeah, I worry about pulling a hammy. I'm not going
There is that risk, but it's worth it. So I think for the flexibility for children, family, sadly recently a lot of funerals. You have to go, you have to attend and show your face. Yeah, you do. I make it work for me, and I don't be too strict about work. We need to work, we need to earn, and all of that good stuff. Yeah. But this life, and so we talk about work-life balance. I think a lot of people and entrepreneurs, this hustle culture gets it wrong. A lot of people get into business, and their life becomes their business. Yeah, they forget the point that the business is supposed to feed the life. Yeah.
Work to live, don't live to work.
Exactly.
Yeah, but it takes a lot of maturity to get to the point where that is how you feel.
Yeah. Well, let's not think I'm mature now. Let's.
Oh no, come on.
Push the boat out.
Right, there is a difference between old and mature, and I'm not professing to be a grown-up, but I think
it's getting awfully serious. This podcast.
But I do think you've got to be quite comfortable in your own skin to be able to say, right, I am going to step back from this a little bit, because actually what I'm doing is harming me, and if it's harming me, it's harming the business, and if it harms the business, it harms me. So I have to be quite mature. I have to, but also you have to get knocked around by life a little bit.
Yeah, well, yeah. We've had our fingers burnt.
Yeah.
It's part of learning. It's part of the growing. It's part of the part of the process. So while we're on this point, it's a great way to segue into two quick questions. Rewind 20 years ago, knowing what you know now, what would you do differently?
Nothing.
Good for you. All right, moving straight on then. For the 20-year-old.
Sorry, that was supposed to. You had 5. You had a tight 5 on that, didn't you?
You did it in like 10 seconds.
Yeah, but that's only because I didn't get here by design. I got here by accident.
Okay.
And I've learned that accidents can be really, really happy things. I got fired from an agency. I walked out of that agency, and a client rang and said, "You're a bit cheeky, aren't you? Knocking off early. It was just wrong for you." And they said, "You've left." Yes, the other kind of left, guys. And they went, "Oh, right. What are you doing now?" I said, "Well, I don't really know." And the marketing director that I was talking to at the time said, "Look, we have been pitched by the agency that you've just left 5 or 6 times. We've always thought they were rubbish until you came in. We didn't buy them, we bought you. You tell us where you're going and we'll come too." Awesome. And I said, "Well, God, what if I ended up on my own? So much the better. Come and talk to us next week. And then you're in it.
That was it.
Yeah. So I can't look back and say, oh, I would have done this and I would have done that and I would have done the other, because that's not how I started. That's not how I started. So no, there isn't a single thing that I would have done differently. No, there isn't. I'm happy with where I'm at. Really happy with where I'm at.
Good for you.
So there you go. I've tried to extend that closer to your type 5.
No, it's fine. So for all the 20-year-olds coming out of university or even leaving school, thinking, what's your advice to them?
Right. I'll say to them what I say to my kids, which is, whatever is happening in your life, put yourself in a position where you have as many choices available to you at the next stage. And by the time you come out of university, put yourself in a position where those choices are founded on curiosity. Don't stop learning. I would never, in seriousness, turn around to somebody, if we were just, sitting shooting the breeze, I would never say to you, Rashpal, I walk into a room and I know that I'm the smartest person in there. But I'll pretty much guarantee I'm the most curious person in there. I'm the person that asks the most questions. Because I want to learn, I want to know, I want to understand. And I would also say to, and I do say to the students that I work with, because I do a module for final year students at University of Huddersfield. Shout out to them, lovely institution. Where I do one lecture. I have them for the whole academic year, but I do one lecture at the very start. And we talk about the golden age of piracy. That's what the lecture is about. Because what I want the students that come out of working with me to be are pirates. I don't want them to be anarchists who are just trying to tear down systems. I want them to look at systems, look at ways of making those systems better, and then fight tooth and nail to make them better. And that requires curiosity, because you have to ask questions and be a little bit dissatisfied with everything that's coming your way. But it also demands a spirit that says everything can improve. Everything can improve. So if you're going to be one thing, be a pirate. And now we're going to talk about the golden age of piracy, which is, it's just a magical time. But I would argue that if you go into any major corporate now, especially the ones who draped themselves in rainbow-coloured flags a couple of months ago, who have multi-faith rooms and DEI policies and a list of all those things that make them look inclusive, I would guarantee you that a pirate vessel in the 1650s was more equal, more fair, more inclusive, more tolerant, and more patient than any of those organisations are today. They were a model of equal pay, equal say, healthcare provision, inclusiveness, feminism, independence, entrepreneurialism, and strength. And it's really important that we understand that the things that we are doing today, not that I'm not here to say that I'm not a fan of being inclusive and bringing everybody in. I'm just saying that we've already done it. And there's lessons to take from history about how we can do those things, And the best place to start learning is the golden age of piracy. Because all you had there were people who looked at what was on offer and they said, no, we can find better. We can do better, and we can do better ourselves. And they went out and did that. And that really inspires me. And then you take that through to the dearly departed Steve Jobs, who once said, I'd rather be a pirate than join the Navy. And that sort of sums me up. I look back on my career when I was employed by agencies, and I was employed by some of the biggest agencies in the UK. There's a reason why I was always awkward. And it wasn't that I'm not some obstreperous nightmare that just decided to be awkward.
Got a chip on the shoulder.
Yeah, I didn't turn up and just go, right, do you know what? It's June. I'm going to be a dick for a month. That wasn't what it was. But there was an element that sat within me that said, you know what? We can always do this differently. We can always do this better, and we can always try. And if we fail, at least we've learned.
Absolutely, innovation, isn't it?
Yeah, and it wasn't until I was out with a guy that I met when I first started up on my own, and we went for a kebab of all things, and we're sitting in one of those lovely town centre neon lit kebab shops, with the plastic seats and all of that. Course, yeah. And he was like, the reason I had to start my own business was I was a nightmare to be an employee. I was always changing everything. I thought, oh shit, that was me. And your journey's slightly different because you've pretty much always been self-employed.
That's right. I've had a couple of jobs in an agency in London and then in Leeds, Dublin,
but I always found something that that I felt I could improve. The advice is always be curious, be a pirate.
Makes sense. I like it.
It doesn't make sense because you've not done it. But I get
it makes sense from the curious point of view. But I've not done it. I've not had a career in agencies long enough to actually appreciate that perspective.
Yeah. But absolutely go and be a pirate. And if you want, and there is a great, back to the earlier set of questions, go to Netflix.
Yeah.
There is a terrific documentary series about the golden age of piracy on there. It's well worth sitting. Take notes. And there's also a really good book called Be More Pirate. I make people read that book because it is, again, it's about just picking up the world and giving it a shake. If everyone else is going off in that direction, there's no reason why you've got to follow what's over there.
Absolutely. I'm not a sheep.
No.
And a lot of people will follow suit.
Yeah.
It's not my style.
No.
You've got to stand out from the crowd.
Yeah, so that would be my advice, to be a pirate.
Well, thank you very much. I enjoyed the conversation.
Have we had was that an hour?
It's a little bit more than
Good Lord.
Yeah, the time is
we like the sound of our own voices, don't we?